Just picked up the permit to go attempt Mount Langley. This would be the 5th 14er of the season. Owens Valley looking absolutely gorgeous right now with the long shadows. June 9th. So got a lot of light to get up to Cottonwood Lakes number 3, 4, 5. And we'll attempt Langley via Old Army Pass tomorrow, see how it goes. So stoked. Absolutely gorgeous out here. Just a few miles to the trailhead. Start high at like 10,000 feet. So not much time to acclimate.
I sighed and I was 19 with face paint, self-inflicted wound and a half pack of Pall Malls with Linda, sweet Linda.
Officially on the trail. Started about 15 minutes ago, just before 8 at Cottonwood Lakes trailhead and Horseshoe Meadows. Make sure if you're going to Langley that you leave off of the right trailhead, the Army Pass trailhead. I brought crampons and my ice axe, so we'll try Old Army Pass, but New Army Pass is supposed to be a little bit easier. Really nice and mellow trail. Like no vertical in the trailhead, which is really nice. Making good time. 9 o'clock. Covered almost 4 miles, but man, Jupiter and what is that? Looks like either Venus or Saturn. I would imagine Saturn. Just gigantic right now. Absolutely stunning in the night sky. One of the perks of getting in late is you get to see the stars. Probably another 20 minutes to camp or so. What's up, Toady? What are you doing? Oh yeah, dinner. All right, after night 1, here's the campsite. I always love falling asleep to waterfalls or creeks. Pretty soothing. 6:19. Crampons on above Lake 5. And we're gonna traverse and then go back up to the pass, which is in the sun. The sun rose early today. Hopefully the snow stays pretty solid, but if all else fails, we go back down and try New Army Pass. Camp is still in shade on the far side of the lake. Sun is up, doing his thing. Heading up that way, but we're going to traverse over here first. And then there's a ramp that goes up. Snow's not wonderful. It's not the best, but it's doable. Definitely wouldn't try this in June without crampons or an axe. Not a good call, but heading up there and then that way. See you at the top of the pass. Okay, just crested Old Army Pass. Here's pretty much the crux of it. Traversed high around that. Pretty cool view of the lakes, I should say. And right over my shoulder is the trailhead up to Langley. Lots of scree. Maybe a little bit of class 2, class 3 if we get froggy. But yeah, June 10th, I think. Yeah, June 10th. So still some snow, really low snow year. Doable, but definitely want to have your wits about you. Go pretty slow. Make sure you traverse south of the bowl before going up so you don't get cliffed out. All in all, pretty sick. Coming upon this first cairn that I've seen, kind of skirting around some snow. Not the most fun climb in the world after getting over Old Army Pass, but you know, they can't all be top notch. 3.5 out of 5 stars. We'll see the ranking once we get closer to the top. $13,750. Just kind of sucks. Not much going on. Some scree, but about 13,800 feet starts to level off a bit. And these really big cairns are pretty heartening. I think we're getting pretty close here. Here's the last little piece of the summit block, but got some pretty good views opening up of Whitney, Williamson way over there. So stoked. All right, let's top this out. All right, we made it happen. Got Mount Whitney behind me. Oh, so sick. What is that? Iridescent Lake and Mitre Basin down that way. Super cool. Mount Williamson, not too far away. Gonna give that a go in 2 days. But tomorrow we're gonna, well, I guess today, we crossing the valley. Gonna go, there it is. Attempt White Mountain off over yonder. But yeah, just so stoked. It's number 5 in this season. 14er number 5. So my apologies for the wind. It's getting a little breezy. Tuttle Creek drainage down there. On the other side of that little ridge is Cottonwood Lakes. And that snowfield is over by New Army Pass. But really cool view of Great Western Divide and the Kauai Peaks. Climbed Red Kauai last year, Black Kauai, Mount Kauai a few years back. Just, if you ever get a chance to go out that way, do it. Table Mountain on the Great Western Divide, Milestone Peak. Hoping to get over there soon, but we got a few more 14ers to tackle before we get to that. So we're on Mount Langley. Got the giant cairn, but I don't know, 40, 50 miles away as the crow flies, there's Sawtooth Peak from Mineral King. Lost Canyon. Got Florence Peak out over there. That's pretty sweet. That is the Boreal Plateau. Must be at, I don't know, 10,000 feet. That drains into Kern Canyon, which is back there. There's the Major General and Mount Kauai behind it on the other side of the Kern, up on Chigupa Plateau. But, yeah, we're headed back down to Cottonwood Lakes. So looking at Cal Topo, just sitting out really, you can see that going down New Army Pass and hiking around past Long Lake and High Lake and Cottonwood Lake number 1 and 2. That has about 5 miles. This is 1 to my campsite, which is at the end of the lake. See from here, there's my tent. So I'm gonna take Old Army Pass back down. So I'm gonna take this opportunity to put my crampons back up, take it nice and slow, but hopefully it'll be pretty short and sweet. It always blows my mind how these little flowers can put up with such harsh conditions. I know it's springtime and you got some running water, but it's totally frozen over for the majority of the year. So there's my tracks all the way up there. Happy that I came back this way too. Not great snow. Definitely took it slow, but we're just about a half mile from camp. Break down, I'm out of here. Probably 20 minutes. Sweet. 11:56. We're back at camp. About 6.5 miles round trip to Langley and back. Pretty good time. About 5 hours. Well, on account of me passing this at about 9:45 p.m., I didn't really get to see it. But man, what a special place. You got Langley up there. I knew that was going to happen too. I was going to be pretty pleasantly surprised. I could tell by the frogs that it was a pretty neat little marsh and lake. Back at the trailhead, it's about, I don't know, less than a quarter mile now. Thoughts on Mount Langley? It's a kind of an endurance test. I know people car to car Langley a fair bit. Make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Today was about 13 or 14 miles, and I started up at the High Lakes and went over Old Army Pass and back down. So, mission, yeah. But a lot of fun. Yeah, gorgeous views, cool summit. Overall, highly recommend.